Weather Channel.
And welcome back to Weather Center Live. Want to take a live look in St. Petersburg. Look at the rain coming down the angry seas as they are bracing for Tropical Storm Ada. They've already had some wind gusts over 30 miles an hour, and that's going to continue, unfortunately, to increase in the coming hours, especially as we head through tonight and into tomorrow morning. Now, just south of St. Petersburg, let's go to the barrier island there, Anna Maria Island, as you get out of Tampa Bay. Also looking ominous on the horizon as they, too, brace for Tropical Storm Ada. And regardless of the strength, even if Ada is weakening, we still have so many threats that are going to be on the horizon, with the threat of storm surge, flooding rain, the winds, and then, of course, Alex, we've also been tracking that threat for severe weather throughout the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a number of different risks that we'll be facing here and continue to face as we head through the rest of the afternoon and into our evening with what is now Tropical Storm Ada. 70-mile-per-hour tropical storm as of the last advisory that came out at 1 o'clock Eastern time. Moving to the north-northeast, right around 10 miles per hour with the central pressure at 990 millibars. You see where some of the worst of the weather is right now, especially on the east side. That's where we're finding some of those bands trying to set up here, and within those, that's where you find some gusty winds. That's where you find some heavy downpours and that risk for some isolated tornadoes. Now, we haven't had many warnings here in the last, maybe I'd say, hour or so, but that could certainly change as we head on through the rest of this afternoon into the evening. There's our one warning that's in place right now. It's a severe warning here for you, Collier, Monroe, parts of Miami-Dade in that warning. Storms moving on off towards the north. Warnings there until about 3 o'clock. The biggest risk is going to be damaging wind gusts with some of these storms. It could be in excess of 60 miles per hour, and you have to watch out because without a moment's notice, you could see one of these things quickly spin up a tornado. And so that is a risk here for us, something to watch out for. And if that warning does come out, certainly you want to make sure you're heating it, getting into the lowest floor of a sturdy building, and getting away from the windows. Again, if a tornado warning were to be issued right now, it's a damaging wind gust, but just be prepared for an isolated tornado to try to spin up there. All right, let's take a look at where this thing's headed. North and eastbound, that will continue, and the official forecast taking it on in basically by tonight, tomorrow morning. Somewhere in that general zone is where the center will be. Notice those wind speeds right around 65 miles per hour. Now, could it be a little weaker than that? That is certainly a possibility, but for now, I would certainly say be prepared for 65-mile-per-hour winds to move on in. And with that, that could certainly lead to some problems when it comes to power outages, so be prepared for that as well. Now, it'll quickly move across the northern stretches of Florida and quickly weaken as well. So this is, again, all looking better here for us across the northern part of the state. Again, still gusty, but certainly a lot less than what it could be, and then zipping north and east away from land as we head on through the end of Thursday and into Friday. And the computer models are in pretty good agreement with that taking shape. You don't see them all over the place right now. Pretty well clustered, so good confidence in what it's going to be doing over the next few hours and over tonight and into tomorrow. Take a look at the hurricane watches. They are still in place here across west central portions of Florida. Now, again, we have a tropical storm, but you still have at least the outside chance of getting a hurricane force wind gust. Can't completely rule that out, so that's why the hurricane watches are still in place. And we still, of course, have the tropical storm warnings as we do expect tropical storm conditions in those red zones while we're looking for the possibility for tropical storm conditions in the yellow area. St. Augustine to Daytona Beach dealing with that. But watch out for that risk for tornadoes anywhere you see that right now in the southwestern part of the state from Tampa south towards Naples. Until 5 o'clock, a tornado watch is in effect. So that's where we have conditions that are favorable for isolated tornadoes to try to spin up. We'll keep an eye on those areas. No tornado warnings for the time being, But Colleen, that no doubt could change. And of course, we look across the board and check in on the rest of the tropics where I tell you, we're still seeing some active areas.
I know. And Alex, I'm just the messenger, but if anyone's missed it, we had theta, and now we may be able to see iota. So again, we continue through the Greek alphabet. Let me give you a rundown here of what's going on in the Atlantic as well as in the Caribbean. Of course, there's Tropical Storm Eta that we continue to track. Then we have Invest 98L in the central Caribbean, and then we got Tropical Storm Theta well out into the Atlantic, making its way towards Europe and Western Africa. So first off, here's Tropical Storm Theta. It's going to be making a track through kind of the middle between the Azores and the Canary Islands as it tracks closer to Europe and Africa. 60-mile-an-hour winds moving to the east-northeast at 10 miles per hour. So that track does take it to the east, no threat to the United States as it continues in that direction. However, a little closer to home, we got to talk about Invest 98L. And so we already have flash flood watches out for Puerto Rico, the BVIs, as well as the U.S. Virgin Islands. Look at this cluster of thunderstorms. We have a tropical wave that's going to be moving into the rest of the Caribbean. As it does so, it is going to be in a favorable area for development. And so over the next 5 days, the National Hurricane Center does give it an 80% chance of developing and then tracking west. A little eerie because it is very similar to that track of Eta as it began on Halloween in the Caribbean, and this could bring even more rain to Central America. We're continuing to track this historic 2020 Atlantic hurricane season. More on Eta right here on the Weather Channel.